Well, here we are, Thoughts from the Office, Redneck Sprite Outdoors. And it's fishing season. Striped bass are being caught in the river. Perch are being caught left and right. Catfish are starting to be caught. Hey, by the way, if you're looking for a guided catfishing trip on the Delaware River, I want you to reach out and give my buddy Dominic a shout. Full draw bow fishing. He's probably one of the best rod and reel catfishing guides on the Delaware that I've heard about. I'm not saying he's the only one. I'm just saying he's top notch. So go out and give him a shout. Full draw bow fishing. Just got himself a brand spanking new boat. Haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's top of the line. Anyway, getting back to what we are here for. I put up a post about night crawlers and striped bass, and as I'm doing the curiosity Google searches and all that, figuring out night crawlers and this, it's amazing the stuff that we see in print from fishermen, good fishermen, and they make statements and claims that logically, if you just think about it, it sounds great when you think about it until you really think about it, and then it's like, nah, not quite. And I want to talk about night crawlers in general for whatever fish you want. And one of the biggest things I hear, whether you're a freshwater bass fisherman, oh my goodness, there's the curse word there, live night crawlers for freshwater bass. Oh my goodness. I'll probably be ostracized. Hate mail gonna be coming in. But anyway, getting back to it. Night crawlers, earth, garden worms, whatever. In these talks, in these forums, in these conversations that you hear, what you constantly hear is this: that when the worm dies, it's no good, get rid of it. A lot of guys in the saltwater fishing talking about night crawlers, and they will admit that for flounder, or you northern Jersey boys, fluke, weak fish, bluefish, blackfish, my mind's blank on all the fish that was talked about, taking night crawlers and using them for those fish, and how many of those species of saltwater fish have been caught on night crawlers. But the number one complaint, the number one problem, every one of them said was the night crawler dies fast in the salt water and it becomes mush. Yep, it do. It do. It dies fast in salt water. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. It dies fast in fresh water too. All right? And there's this common thought that once the night crawler dies, it immediately becomes no good for fishing and catching fish. Now, I will give you that a night crawler dying does become mush at some point in time, yes. But it doesn't become mush in an hour. It doesn't become mush. Now, the guy's going to say, I beg to differ with you. Well, you can. But let me just throw this out to you. many a trout line are baited with night crawlers and worms and set out for 24 hours and have fish on them. All right. Now, the reason we don't like the night crawlers dead is because they stop moving. It's that simple. They stop moving. And we honestly, because it stopped moving, every 10 minutes you got to replace it, and it's costing us money and what have you. Again, we're not talking to the bass fishermen because you would never do that. But, you know, I want to throw a question out to you. If it's dead and not moving, will a bass or a perch or a catfish, well, catfish, everybody's going to say yeah because they think they eat everything stinky. But a bass or a pickerel or whatever, will they not eat it because it died? Or a trout not eat it because it died? And the answer is obviously, yeah, they eat it. What happens when the current's rolling a dead worm down the stream bottom? And the fish sees him rolling down the stream bottom. He comes up and he smells him, and he sees that he's a dead worm, but he's only been dead for 2 or 3 hours. You don't think he's going to eat it? That's like saying a bass won't eat a dead minnow. You know how many bass I've caught on a dead minnow with a bobber, working it, just jigging it? Dead as a dead. Ain't no more moving. Get him on a bobber and just popping him. Boom, hits him. You know, in order to be good, well, let me rephrase that. There are a lot of things out there that good fishermen do and believe. But to become better, you got to see if they're true or not. I'll throw this out to you. Take yourself a dead night crawler, put him on your bobber, throw him out there, let him die, bring him in, he's dead, throw it back out. And just twitch him. Just twitch him. See if you don't get some bites from bass or pickerel or perch. By the way, using pieces of worm makes them last longer, and that's what perch fishermen do. Now, if you're really wanting to add to that worm, do that little trick that I told you about with the sponge. Okay? Put the sponge on your line, or actually take your little sponge, thread it through your hook, all the way through, and bring it up onto your line in the eye of the hook right there, and put your worm on that thing with that little sponge, just that little sponge setting on there. Okay? Put you a split shot, 4 or 5 inches above that. That split shot will keep it down below your bobber, how many inches you go with. Okay, but the sponge will float that worm. So you're just going to use a piece of sponge that's just big enough to make the worm move, but you don't want to use it's going to float all the way up all the time. But as you're twitching and you're reeling and twitching, you're going to get that tail movement. You're going to get that up and down with that boom, 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 boom. Try it out next time. I know. It's a curse word to use a worm or a live bait for bass fishing. So don't go bass fishing. Try it for pickerel, catfish, yellow perch, white perch, whatever. I'll talk to you later. Thoughts from the office, Redneck Sprite Outdoors.